Welcome to a new session from the course School Organization, Administration and Management. In this session, we will discuss on the teacher education program, the importance of health education, role of teachers in health education, importance of health education in teacher education programs, components of a healthful environment, and strategies for imparting health education. Sir William Temple once said, "Health is a soul that animates all the enjoyments of life which fade and are tasteless without it." Importance of health is self-evident. It has been realized by all and at all times. We must have a well-shaped body capable of carrying out physical efforts in many directions. A man generally suffering from diseases, on the other hand, has imperfect metabolism, and he or she becomes a burden on the society. A healthy body has greater resistance to diseases. Therefore, health education occupies an important position in the teaching learning process. The old saying, "Healthy mind in a healthy body," is absolutely correct. No one can achieve any considerable measure of success without sound health. A healthy man can do any great thing in life. When health is gone, one is mentally and physically bankrupt. Therefore, it is the greatest folly of a country to neglect a program of health education in the teacher education program. What makes a successful teacher? Teaching is both a science and an art. It is a science in that careful planning of objectives, methods, contents, experiences, and evaluation are required of the teacher. It is an art because the teacher needs fine qualities such as sensitivity to the needs, interests, and progress of pupils, sympathetic personal relationship, and skills in working with children and adults. The teacher should be a large personality, a great soul characterized by simplicity, sincerity, love, faith in eternal values, and deeply conscious of human relationships. The success of any health education program depends upon the teacher. They have the responsibility for recognizing the needs, introducing new ideas, adapting old customs, encouraging cooperative participation, inspiring action, and fostering desirable practices in pupils. What is teacher education? Teacher education refers to the total educative experiences which contribute to the employed to designate the program of courses and other experiences offered by an educational institution for the announced purposes of preparing persons for teaching and other educational services. Such teacher education programs are offered in colleges of education, district institutes, educational school complexes, colleges, and universities. The ultimate aim of teacher education is to prepare effective teachers. Teacher education is presumed to attempt to meet this challenge following certain assumptions. In the first place, it is assumed that there is an adequate concept of teaching. Secondly, it is assumed that this concept of teaching can be operationalized in terms of teaching behavior pattern invariably related to desired educational outcomes. Thirdly, it is assumed that there are certain techniques of training available through which the requisite teaching behavior patterns can be developed in prospective teachers to effect the desired educational outcomes. Fourthly, it is assumed that once the teaching behavior patterns are acquired by prospective teachers during the course of their training, these patterns are sustained and carried over to their assigned positions in the teaching profession till more efficient learning behavior patterns are discovered and mastered to effect the desired educational outcomes. Lastly, it is assumed that teacher education institutions make plans and execute their programs directed towards this end. The teacher education program can be of two types. First is pre-service training and second in-service training. Pre-service training. A Bachelor of Science, Arts or Commerce can be admitted to a college of teacher education in order to learn the art of teaching in different subjects. In this program, the teacher should undergo a specific training in health service, health instruction and healthful school living. The teacher education programs should equip the trainees with necessary knowledge about organization of health education programs in a school. If the health education program is to be meaningful and stimulating to students, it must be organized well. After all, our real aim is that health experiences given in the school should lead to good health habits, which may be carried over into adolescence and adult life. So, this program needs very good organization, supervision and control. Although all school teachers have a basic responsibility to contribute to the health education of their students, the administrative responsibility of the total program must be entrusted to a particular individual in the school. Once responsibility has been clearly defined, the organization of the total program can be undertaken. Importance of health education. In teacher education program, health education should be considered as an important subject. It should be taught on a compulsory basis. The student teachers should develop knowledge about human physiology. In this subject, they should learn that human body is like a machine. In a machine, there are different units. Each unit performs its own distinct functions, but they all do their work in full cooperation and coordination for producing the goods. In the human body also, there are different units. All the different units perform their specified functions. They all lead to the good of the human body, provide energy to do it, and keep it healthy. The units in the human body are known as systems. There are 6 major systems in the human body, namely the digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, nervous system and the reproductive system. Each of these systems has a particular role in the human body. There are a number of minute units also in the human body called cells. When a group of cells perform uniform functions, it is called a tissue, and when a group of tissues perform one particular function, it is known as an organ. When a group of organs are engaged in discharging a particular function, it is known as a system. Thus, we can say that cells make tissues, tissues make organs, and organs make the system. Health education is a study of human life and its processes. So it involves all its related problems, interests and needs. In fact, there is nothing which involves health in man's social, emotional and physical life. Factors like emotional stability, sexual and social maturity, physical development, adjustment to strain and stress, illness and many other problems associated with personality development all influence a person's health. To define these problems, to examine them and to teach about them in an appropriate manner with achievement and ability is a task which requires great knowledge and skill on the part of a teacher. Here, a teacher of health and physical education, besides being a specialist of his or her own field, is also required to possess knowledge of various social, physical and biological sciences, personal qualities, skills, attitudes and professional efficiencies which he or she should receive from the colleges of teacher education. Both the pre-service and in-service teacher trainees should develop knowledge about certain aspects of health education during their training period. For this, the first stage is planning. The teacher trainee should know how to plan the health and physical education program for the whole year in advance. They should also learn how to plan all the physical and health program activities, including those of the annual sports day, the annual medical examination, the parents' day, social service camp, as well as sub-divisional, district and state tournaments in advance, and place them before the school health and sports committee for approval. Second is organizing. The pre-service and in-service teachers should learn how to organize the school plan, look after decoration and upkeep of the school campus, including playgrounds, check sanitary arrangements, and conduct experiences in health education. They also have to organize social service camps, girls' guide, and Boy Scout camps, and many other outdoor, co-curricular and recreational activities. Third is guiding. The trainees should learn how to guide their students in their proper selection of physical activities, athletics and games suited to their aptitudes and capacities. They have to guide them to remove their physical deformities, postural defects, mental illness and emotional immaturity. They also have to give guidance to the backward and the slow learners. They have to guide and suggest remedial measures for the delinquent, abnormal and maladjusted children. The fourth is supervising. The trainees should learn the art of supervising the total school health programs, which include healthful school living, health services and health instructions. They are also to supervise the work and achievement of students in physical exercise, athletics, games, scouting, safety measures and first aid, social service, cultural programs and recreational activities. Fifth is coordinating and assisting. The trainees should learn to coordinate the school health program with different teachers, health authorities, parents, voluntary health agencies, etc. And the sixth is maintenance of records. They should learn how to maintain the health records of all students. Each student should possess a cumulative health record during his or her school stage, which should include their health history of their family, and symptoms and signs of health disturbances, if any. Seventh is evaluating. The teacher trainees should not only learn the art of teaching health education, but also learn how to evaluate the achievements of the pupils from time to time and diagnose weaknesses. Both physical and health education is important in teacher education colleges on certain grounds, which we shall discuss now. The first one, a teacher's wellness gets reflected on the student's wellness. Hence, student teachers should be trained to keep good health habits, to motivate students to improve and maintain their health, prevent diseases and reduce risky behaviors. Second, health education curricula and instruction help student teachers to acquire skills they will use to make healthy choices throughout their lifetime. This enables them to have good physical and mental health and makes them mentally and physically fit to their profession. Third, healthy teachers who are aware promote healthy behaviors and practices among students, who then imitate their behaviors into their own lifestyle and engage in more health promoting activities. Whatever the teacher or role model does is easily adopted by the students. Fourth, healthy teacher is a crucial component of a happy and progressive school. A healthy and stress-free workplace makes for satisfying and high-performing teacher. Such a school teacher is more likely to be happy in their position of work and tend to stay longer. They display good attendance records and take fewer leaves, thus providing the stability and continued development which is very essential for educational success. Hence, the prospective teachers should have provision for health education. Fifth, stress management is an important problem that a teacher addresses in schools. Schools are dominated by female teachers who have to devote time and look after students in schools and back home in their own families. Hence, lifestyles leave employees with no time to look after themselves. Hence, the teacher should be equipped to address issues like lack of physical activity, stress management, etc. Sixth, health education prepares the student teacher to provide appropriate first aids for the student if any emergency arises. Seventh, it will give them knowledge and skill to organize physical and health related activities in schools. We shall now see the role of teachers in health education. The first is personal cleanliness. The daily inspection of the student's cleanliness by the teacher in the morning is very helpful in enforcing personal cleanliness. A rapid survey may be made daily and cleanliness competitions may be introduced among the students. Second is development of healthy habits. Correct habits of breathing and feeding should be introduced among them. A good teacher also pays adequate attention to classroom habits like posture, etc. Third is physical exercises. A variety of programs of physical activities will be provided so that the students may choose suitable physical exercises for themselves. Fourth is vaccinations and inoculation. The students should be regularly vaccinated and inoculated throughout the arrangements by the school. Fifth is the medical inspection and follow-up work. Regular and thorough medical examination should be arranged and its follow-up taken seriously. Sixth, training in first aid. The student should be given training in first aid in terms of emergency. 7. Better human relations. The children should be educated to their best for the betterment of the health of their friends, relatives, neighbors and the whole community. 8th, special methods of teaching health. The school should arrange for special methods of teaching health in the form of health posters, health projects and health weeks, health books, films and film strips, excursions, health clubs, health counseling and follow-up, healthy environment, radio, etc. Importance of health education in teacher education programs. The main aim of education is the development of all aspects of the child's personality, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual and social. The aims of school education are to be realized by the teacher. They are associated with all school programs and it is they who always mingle with the pupils. Very few teachers may be interested in acquiring knowledge about health matters. They may not be aware of the importance of health education in schools. Thus, the teachers who are ignorant of the basic rules of health and the role of health in education may become indifferent to the health of pupils and the role of health in education. The balanced development of pupils is not possible in the hands of such teachers. Such teachers may not be able to maintain even their own health. Thus, health education must form an integral part of teacher education program. Implementation of health education programs depends upon the teacher. A teacher who possesses good health and is conscious of its role in education will pursue health education programs in the school with zeal and enthusiasm. The purposes of health education in teacher education program can be: first is health observation. The teacher has constant contact with pupils in the classroom, in the play field, in the library, laboratory, etc. They can easily detect defective health habits and postures of students. They can identify the cases of defective health and suggest some remedial measures. Second is providing healthy school environment. The teacher can provide suitable environment in the school conducive to good health. They can pay special attention to personal hygiene, cleanliness, ventilation, physical exercise and inculcation of good health habits. Third is prevention of communicable diseases. The children may come from various localities. They may contract some communicable disease and carry it to school. A teacher who knows about the prevention of such disease will adopt suitable preventive measures not only in the school but in the surrounding areas. Fourth is food and nutrition. Good health is not possible without suitable food and nutrition. A teacher can instruct children about the type of food they should take. Fifth is health services. A teacher can organize health service for minor ailments. They can arrange regular medical examination of children by competent doctors. Also, a teacher is expected to know the type of health services available. Thus, health education in teacher education program is of importance for the reasons like to acquire knowledge about physical and health education, to develop awareness about health and fitness, to develop the physical fitness and wellness, to understand the prevention of lifestyle diseases, to understand the rules and regulations of sports and games, to develop the skills in organizing the physical education programs in schools, to develop the activities required for organizing physical education meets and events, to acquire knowledge about recreation, health and safety education, to acquire knowledge about common communicable diseases, to understand the nature of injuries and to provide first aid, to understand the diet modification in the treatment of underweight and obesity. Components of a healthful environment. A healthful school environment encompasses such factors as adequate space, proper lighting, heating and ventilation, good sanitation, correct seating, regular maintenance, safety counseling facilities, health services, recreational areas, eating places, restrooms and living quarters. A healthful environment, however, provides more than those physical characteristics. The emotional climate is also important if the student is to receive optimum benefits from attendance at school. There are certain factors which influence the emotional climate of the school, and they are the educational qualifications, personality characteristics and workload of faculty members, the opportunities provided for student-faculty conferences, teaching methods and classroom procedures employed by faculty members, the number and demands of students and the ability of the teacher to carry this workload, the attractiveness of the facilities, the adequacy of recreational facilities, the scheduling of time for recreational activities, the nature and extent of school traditions. Now we shall discuss the various strategies for imparting health education. There are some aspects of environment which make a significant contribution to healthful living in the school, and these are: the first one is the environmental sanitation. Environmental sanitation on the campus involves control of the drinking water and milk supply, the food in eating halls, restaurants, garbage disposal, water in the swimming pools, health protection of food handlers, housing, building maintenance, and insect and rodent control. The second is classroom, library, and laboratory. A school student spends many hours in the classroom, library, and laboratory. An ideal physical environment for learning is provided by the classroom or laboratory, which is properly lighted to assure a minimum of eye fatigue, adequately heated and ventilated to promote physical and mental efficiency, correctly equipped with chairs and tables which fit the individual student, and decorated with colors pleasing and soothing to the eye. The same characteristics are needed in the study rooms in the library, since it is imperative that this facility be conducive to good study habits. The third is guidance and counseling services. A student may find it difficult to determine his or her vocational goal because he or she may not comprehend clearly the personal traits which are required to succeed in a specific vocation. The guidance and counseling services of a school should be established to help students in their future adjustment. Fourth is hostel facilities. Hostel is considered as a living quarters for the students. Such living quarters affect the health and efficiency of the students. For example, good lighting can decrease eye fatigue, headaches, nervousness and irritability. Bright, cheery surroundings have a definite psychological uplifting effect. Proper heating and ventilation reduce the likelihood of contracting respiratory diseases such as colds, sinusitis and pneumonia. Adequate space in living quarters prevents the spread of a number of communicable diseases. Properly equipped and arranged quarters with intelligent use of appliances prevent many home accidents. The school authorities who are concerned with providing hostel facilities should give attention to the requirements of good housing in a hostel. The fifth is providing health guidance opportunities. To provide an environment for healthful living, there must be provision for health guidance program in schools. It is through the personal social relationships with students that the health education teacher will be able to cooperate with the student health service in observing, screening, referring and following up the student with a health problem. The adaptive or corrective program supervised by health service and physical educational personnel on an individual need basis serves as an important means of correcting remedial defects. Sixth is health services. In each school, there must be a provision for health services because a school health service may function as a medical office, a student hospital or a student health service. Thus, the health needs of students can be fulfilled. To these health service organizations, students will come with personal problems such as chronic fatigue and some such health problems. Thus, health services can provide opportunities for a healthful living. Seventh is the use of teaching methods and aids. Pupils will learn and understand more easily and effectively if the teaching is made interesting and enjoyable. The greater the variety of teaching methods and aids you can employ, the easier it will be to capture and hold the pupil's attention. Concentrate on finding the best methods of presenting new knowledge and on involving pupils more actively in the learning process. Certain approaches have been found to be highly successful. For communicating new ideas, flannel graphs, models and demonstrations, color slides, film strips, storytelling, puppet plays, play acting, posters and booklets, songs and dances, help from outside workers can be used. For developing understanding, group discussion, presentation of conclusion to others, making up stories or inventing the end to a prepared but unfinished story, making up plans to act with others, inventing songs or dances to express ideas, role playing, taking on the roles of others in the community, designing posters to express ideas, conducting surveys, finding out what others do or feel about particular topics, making puppet theatres and presenting puppet plays can be used. It would be valuable for each child to have a record of all the work attempted, perhaps in the form of a booklet in which key information from each unit is summarized. The basic information can be supplemented by drawings, cutout pictures, stories and anecdotes relating to the student's own health and physical situations. Let us now summarize what we have just discussed. Good health is the basis of all development. The teacher should realize this and they must attend to the health needs of the pupils. For that, they should know about common diseases and ailments. They are expected to facilitate the healthy growth of children by organizing health education programs. One of the qualities which every teacher must possess is good health and correct health habits. A teacher who enjoys satisfactory physical and mental health can hope to induce similar conditions in their pupils. The teacher should realize this and must attend to the health needs of the pupils. Health education builds student teachers' knowledge, skills and positive attitudes about health, and it teaches them about physical, mental, emotional and social health. As prospective teachers, the student teacher should be equipped to prepare their student for leading a healthy life. Teachers' mental health and emotional maturity is more important to enable them for an effective classroom instruction, and lack of their wellness would influence their classroom instruction. Hence, both physical and health education in teacher education colleges is important. If we provide environments, activities and services, students are sure to make good adjustment with their social and physical environments and attain a proper synthesis between intellectual, emotional and physical aspects of life. Closely knit family ties, stable social structure and wholesome school environment are the best safeguards against mental illness of any kind. Thank you for watching this session on the importance of health education in teacher education programs. See you again with a new topic another day. Thank you.